guys, Tone here. Another video coming for you. This is more just general powerlifting training video, just to address some of the smaller little things that I keep seeing. And it's geared towards more the Cube page. I know I posted the last video on the JI page. I did not post it on the Cube. This one's going to go on the Cube and the JI page just because it's more of a general training video. The first one I wanted to address is something Al Famiano brought up to me that's a real good point that a lot of new people do, and it's to pick a program. Pick a program, stick with it. Brandon said it if you're on the Cube page. If you've seen any of Brandon's posts, he said it before. I don't care what program you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's Cube, 531, West Side for skinny bastards, Texas Method, Smolov, German volume training, Bill Starr, 5x5, whatever it is. Pick it. Stick with it. Commit to it. Don't get 4 weeks in and then go, I don't like this, and move on to something else. You're never going to find out what works for you that way. You need to start and end each program and see what it does for you. You may not like something, but at the end of it, if it puts 100 pounds on your deadlift, you're going to love it. You may love a program, but if at the end your deadlift's stalled or the same, or your bench goes backwards, you going to do that again? You may love the program. Are you going to do it again if you're not making any progress? Sure, if you're a regular gym guy and going to just lift, yeah, you might. Oh, I'm staying in shape. Great, fine. It's not who I'm talking to. If you're a power lifter and you get through a full program and don't make any progress, are you really going to do that again? Because if you are, I don't ever want you anywhere near me. I don't want you on my team. I don't want you talking to anybody I know. And I certainly don't want you giving advice on any page that I'm modeling. That should never happen. If you're going backwards in a program, and it does happen, you do sometimes just try a program and it doesn't work. It happens. It does. But you better know why it didn't work. You better know how come it didn't work. You better figure it out, because if you're just going to say, this program's not working, I'm moving to a new one, you've learned nothing. So the next program may do the same thing. You've done nothing if you're not learning why. So stick to a program, 8 weeks at least. If you're not putting at least 2 months in a program, you don't know anything about the program. You don't know how it works. You don't know why you're doing what you're doing. You don't know the results that you're going to get. You don't know anything about it. 8 weeks minimum. There are some that run 16. That I'm not telling you to go take a 16-month program and run it all the way. But by 8 weeks, you should know whether or not that program's working for you. So at least 8 weeks. For a lot of the new people just getting into it, I see a lot of different questions, especially again on the Cube, that are unnecessary. They're not needed. You're worrying about the wrong things. Here's what's first. Your technique is first. You're going to get strong. You want to get strong. I understand powerlifting is all about strength. But if you don't have technique, the strength's never going to come, because you're going to get hurt. There's a reason that some people have longevity in this sport, and it's because usually they're technically really good. If you're not technically good, it doesn't matter. You're going to wind up getting hurt. You're going to pull a deadlift and their back's going to come out. Yeah, there are freaks. There are always people that want to go and see my videos and go, well, what about Constantino? If he pulls with a round back, you're not Constantino. You're nowhere near that level. You're nowhere near that freak. And if you are, congratulations. Go. You shouldn't be watching this video. You should be going and doing something anyway. So I'm talking to the regular everyday guys, the guys that you see in the gym, the guys that are just picking up the Cube or the 531 or West Side and trying these things. Fix your technique. It doesn't matter how much you can squat if your technique is horrible. If your knees are going in and all that, I don't care that you can squat 600, because you're going to get hurt. And eventually it's going to come back and haunt you. Unless you're some kind of freakish athlete. And even those guys get hurt, because I train with one. All right? I've trained with a couple of them, actually. I've trained with a guy who's done, professional bike riding, who's done basketball at a high level in college, D1. And they still get hurt. Even freak athletes get hurt. If your technique isn't balls on, you're going to get hurt. So technique, focus on your technique. Take the hit on your lifts to get the technique better. And once that technique is better, your lifts will go back up. People that come bench with me all the time lose weight on their bench. Their bench dives when they first come, because they're learning how to sit up. They're learning how to be tight. They're learning what it is to push and how to get that technique correct. And then it skyrockets, because now you're using all those muscles. You're learning how to do things right, and it'll come back. So put the time in to learning your technique first. Then the strength will come. Take your time to build. A lot of guys like to do a meet every couple months, 5-6 meets a year. I don't think you can do that, especially not as a new lifter. I think you want to take the time to build your strength, to build your body. It takes a few weeks or a couple 8 weeks to put some muscle on. Then after that, you can put some strength on that muscle. They're two very different things, and I'm not sure everybody knows that. Just because you put muscle on doesn't always mean you've gotten super stronger. You have more muscle to move things with, But if you can put strength onto that muscle and you make those muscles work together, coordinate the musculature more, which is what the older lifters, guys like me who've been around forever, we have that. We recruit more muscle than somebody who's brand new at the sport. We're better able to coordinate the muscle firing. And I forget where I read it, but I've read it. I know it's something like, it's an inordinate amount. It's a very big difference between a noob who's just lifting and how much muscle they recruit during a squat and how much muscle an elite level guy who's been at it for years does. They recruit a lot more musculature, a lot more percentage-wise of muscle than a new guy. So keep a log. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. Figure these things out. It's not just going into the gym and working. That's not where all the energy comes from in this sport. That's the easy part. The easy part is going in and training because that's what we all love to do. The hard part is doing the recovery, keeping the log, going back and reading through these things and figuring out what does and what does not work for you and putting the effort mentally into it. That's where everybody loses it. It's not that, hey, the top guys are the strongest all the time. Sometimes they're not the strongest. Sometimes you see guys that come in and out of this sport all the time that are super strong and they burn. Boom, bang, real big total, zoom, out of the sport. There's a reason for that, and that's because usually they're not doing what it takes. Either the technique's bad or they just burn out. But if you can keep your mental head on you and you can keep investing in it mentally, you can figure out what does and doesn't work for you and invest your time wisely. You can be more efficient. And you'll do the things that work for you and the things that don't work for you, you leave by the wayside. So you're not putting time in wearing your shoulders down doing floor press that doesn't work for you or doing rack lockouts that don't work for you. I'm not saying they don't. Try them. See if they work for you. Some things do, some things don't. Don't complicate things. You go into the gym, pick something up, put it down a few times, and leave. It's not rocket science. It's really not. The stuff that I see some of these new guys talking about on the boards and stuff is, you don't need to be at that level yet, man. It's not that tough. You go in and lift. You ever seen these guys that they've never done a competitive powerlifting meet in their life, and they go in the gym and move weight like nothing? They're just going in and doing it. It's fun. They're just going and lifting. It's not about a band or a chain or percentage or this. Go lift. At least for the first 2 or 3 years you're doing this, go lift. Unless you're with a crew that knows what the hell they're doing and will train you and get you into the sport and to give you some guidance and direction, then you have something to follow. Then you have a direction to go because you're leaning on those guys to lead you. If you don't have that, just go lift. Go have fun in the gym. Go pound out weight. Yeah, so you'll get yelled at if you post on a board and somebody will be like, you're killing yourself. You're overdoing it. Sometimes you are. So take that and learn from it. Maybe go, yeah, you know what? Maybe I was beat up that week. So maybe let me cut it down and do a little more of this or try to do that. Learn from it. You might burn yourself out a few times. You might burn yourself into the ground a couple times. But just go lift. Go have fun. It's simple. It's really not all that complicated to start. You don't have to worry about the minute details until the end, until you're way better. Then just try and put 5 pounds. When you're in an 800-pound deadlift, putting 5 or 10 pounds on your deadlift is super hard. It's incredibly hard. When you're in a 300-pound deadlift, putting 5 or 10 pounds on that deadlift is easy. You can do that in a week. And yeah, I know weight classes and all that, but take what I'm saying. You know, understand what I'm saying. 300-pound deadlift, you got plenty of room to improve. 800-pound deadlift, not so much. You have to scrape for every pound you make at that point. So don't make it any harder than you have to now. Do just the general stuff. Work hard. Start learning what does and what doesn't work for you now so that when you get to that 800-pound deadlift, when you get to that 500-pound bench, then you can keep making the progress because you've understood what you've done to get there, what's gotten you there, what hasn't gotten you there. Again, like I said, it's not the small things. It's not Olympic shoes, not Olympic shoes. I mean, yes, it can make a difference, but just squat. Just get the fucking parallel with the weight. Get up, get down, time after time, day, week after week, and you'll make progress. It doesn't matter. The shoes do not friggin' matter. Yes, Olympic shoes will help some people. Quad-dominant people, Olympic shoes will help majorly. But it's not going to help you until you've already gotten strong. All you got to do is get strong first. Then the shoes will be even more of a help than they were. The same thing with like the grip, wide grip, close grip. Close grip's going to put more on your triceps. Wide grip's going to put more on your back. The end. You can bench either way. I've seen guys bench really strong wide grip, and you've seen guys like me, Brandon, bench closer grip and be strong with it. High, low bar, who cares? Just squat. I tried hard bar this week. Well, I didn't know what the fucking difference was between a high and a low bar until probably a couple years ago. And I've been at this sport for like 8 or 9 years now. I don't know no high bar, low bar. I put the bar where it was comfortable on my back and I squatted. Hey, where's it comfortable? There. Okay, good. Have I moved it up and down sometimes? Yeah, I have, because as I got bigger, it needed to move. Sometimes it needed to move down, sometimes it needed to move up a little bit, depending on what I changed. And guess what? You could be high bar one day and make a change to your feet, and next day you're low bar, because the bar up high doesn't fit anymore. One change you make, right down the line like a domino to other things. So don't tell me high bar, low bar, blah, blah, blah. Just put the bar in your back where it's comfortable. Fucking squat the bar. The end. Sumo, conventional, everybody, what's better for me? What's better for me? You know what's better? Both. Do both. Do both, figure out what works for you, which one's stronger. But both will always help you. I don't care if you're a sumo puller, you should be pulling conventional. I don't care if you're a conventional puller, you should be pulling sumo, because it's going to help you in the end. If you get strong in both, it's going to take up weaknesses wherever they are, and you're going to get stronger both ways. I'm a conventional puller when I'm raw. I'm a sumo puller when I'm in gear. So I train both. Both work for me. I love both. You have to do both, because it's going to get, just like everybody wants to do different bars in the squat and try this and do that and do that. Yeah, but do both in the deadlift then too. No, I'm sumo pull. You're a sumo puller because you don't like putting the weight on your low back in conventional pulling. So that's why you're a sumo puller. Oh, I'm a sumo puller. Yeah, because, I'm a conventional puller. Yeah, because your hips ain't strong and you don't like sumo pulling. Do both. Get strong both ways, and then you don't have an excuse. Then both are strong. Then when a guy online says, oh, well, you sumo pull. Oh, yeah, well, I pulled this conventional, too. Oh, you conventional pull. Oh, yeah, let me see you pull it. Oh, well, you sumo pull. I can't do that. I'm a conventional puller. Bullshit. Pull both ways. Do both. Finally, the biggest, number one thing in this whole video. I waited till last. I got my whole list here. The usual outline that I know what to talk about. And this is the last thing, and it's huge. No matter what you do, no matter what it is, and a specific exercise, a training program, what you're eating, if you're on a specific diet, know why you're doing something. Number one thing in this sport is to know why. People, how did you get to be such a good coach? How did you do it? Because I know why. I know why I'm doing something. I know the whys behind it. Scientifically? Nah, hell no. I could not tell you the muscles of the body. I know the adductors and all that shit. I know the major groups. I don't know the minor shit. I'm not a biology major. I'm not what do you call it? A physiology major. I'm not that guy. But I know what works. I know what I've been around in the gym. I know what I've seen guys do, and I know why, because I've always asked. And they tell you, shut up and train. That's true. Shut up and train. If you're a new guy in a new crew, or when you're training with people, shut up and train. Then afterwards, when you're cleaning up, when you're packing up, when you're cleaning up, go, hey man, why'd you do that? Why did you have to do that? So, I'm just looking to understand. That's the time to ask questions. If you do what they tell you during your training to get stronger, that's fine. Afterwards, ask why. Why did you do that? Why did you move his feet out? Why did you tell him to turn his toes out? Why did you move the bar up on his back? Why did you tell him to move the bar down? Why did you do these things? When you find out why, that makes you better. Because now if something happens to you, you know why you're doing something. You don't go, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that. You should do this when this happens because this is why. And that's what makes you a good coach, too. If you get a coach who goes, just do what I'm telling you. Bullshit. Bullshit. Yeah, I could do that with anybody. Hey, do what go rob that bank. Why? Because I'm telling you to. Go, eat shit. Why? Because I told you to. No, dude, it's not just because you tell me to. I want to know why I'm doing this. If you don't have a reason or you can't tell me why, then why am I doing it? There's no reason for me to change. So if I'm making progress in a program, I'm not going to change it. I'm not going to go, well, I've made progress at 5-1, but everybody seems to really like the cube, so I'm going to go do the cube. Fuck that. Stay on your progress. Stay on the program that's making you progress. But at the same thing, don't come over to the cube and go, well, I'm just going to do what Brandon said. Well, okay, that's fine. It's in the program. But figure out why he's doing each of these things. Why do you take these steps? And that's what he means when he says customize it for yourself. If you have a weakness and he's doing a ton of, I know the Kingpin's big on box pulls. But if you have a lockout, if you can get anything locked out, if you can pull 900 off of a knee-high rack pull, but you can't pull 600 off the floor. Do you really think you need to pull off boxes? No. Pull off the floor. Pull off a deficit. Know why you're doing it. Because my lockout's strong. I can lock out anything that gets above my knee. Then you don't need to be doing a whole bunch of box pulls. You need to be doing some deficits. You need to be breaking stuff off the floor. Speed pulls. Shit like that. Know why you're doing shit. And if a guy can't tell you why, don't listen to him. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's Louis Simmons himself. Louis will always be able to tell you why he told you to do something. Always. Most of the best coaches will always be able to tell you why you're doing something. You name it, they'll tell you. But the guys that just read stuff off the fucking internet can't tell you a thing. Or if they do, you can tell they're bullshitting. Hey man, why do you suggest speed pulls for my lockout? Well, the band overloads, and then at the top it's more weight, blah, 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 and then, because Muscle Fitness said that get out of here, dude, beat it. Just fucking beat it. I don't want to hear from you anymore. And this is the kind of shit that you need to wade through when you're on the pages like theCUBE and things like that, where you got 6,000 people. There are some amazing guys on there that will coach you and that are excellent people to listen to. And then there are some people on there that every time they open their mouth, I'm just this close to hitting the friggin' ban button. Because they have no idea what they're talking about. And some of you really know what you're talking about, but still need to shut the fuck up. Because you'll disagree with what everybody else says because you're so sure that you're right. You're not always right. Sometimes somebody's got a good idea. Ask them why. I see guys all the time telling somebody, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Instead of asking the guy, why are you doing that? Find out why he's doing it. How are you going to coach a guy if you don't know why he's doing something? If he's pulling reps and doing, here's a perfect example on the Q page the other week. Perfect example. There's a guy that pulled, what was it? Like an 8-10 piece deadlift. And he did it for reps. Not pausing reps, just boom, 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 touch and go reps. You need to stop and you need to reset between each rep and do it that way to work it. The dude wasn't working it for technique, asshole. If you ask the guy why he's doing it, it was to build muscle and to build strength. That you want time under tension for. You want to be under tension longer. So the better that he's touching and going, not resetting. Resetting would be if he was working his technique. If he wanted to fix his technique, then, hey dude, if you're going to pull 10, set up every time. That'll help his technique. But he wasn't doing it for technique, assholes. He was doing it to build strength. So shut the fuck up and ask him why he's doing it. If you don't know why, you can't coach somebody. I just got done saying it. If a coach doesn't know why, don't listen to him. Well, if you don't know why, then you can't coach. All right? It's really not that complicated, guys. There's a lot of questions on this page, on the Q page, that piss people off and get the mods mad or get the experienced lifters mad, and everybody goes, well, what's the matter? People aren't allowed to ask questions? No. They're allowed to ask questions. But you better have a thought behind it. There better be a why behind it. If I ask you why you're doing it, and you go, you're not worth my time. I'm not going to put effort into it if you're not going to put effort into it. If I'm supposed to sit there and critique your squat technique, you better be able to tell me why you're either wearing the Olympic shoes. You better be able to tell me why you're high bar squatting versus low bar squatting. You better be able to tell me why you wore a wrap over your sweatpants rather than taking the fucking sweatpants off. That's what I want to hear. I want to know why you're doing something. Because I can't coach you if I don't know why you're doing it. And I can't tell you what you're doing wrong if I don't know how to tell you what you're doing, if I don't know how you're looking at it. If I can't tell that you're seeing the color green and calling it blue, then how do I tell you to call it orange? You see what I mean? Know why somebody's doing something. If they're asking for a form check and they're squatting and they got Olympic shoes on and they look like they would be a better low bar squatter, say, hey dude, why are you wearing the shoes? Find out why. Oh, because this guy told me to. Well, that's awful. That's terrible. Well, that's one reason. Hey, if the guy told him to and he just went and put them on, get the fucking shoes off, dude. Squat this way and let's see what it looks like. But suppose he comes back and goes, well, I tried squatting in Chucks, and every time I did, I almost fell backwards. Well, now that's why he's got Olympic shoes on, because it gives him the heel to sit, blah, blah, blah. So now you have something to work with. Now you can say, well, hey, man, let's make these adjustments on your technique, and maybe you can take those shoes off and still be a wide squatter, but when we make these adjustments to technique, you won't feel like you're falling back anymore. Why? Why is important. It's the number one thing in this sport. If you don't know why you're doing something, you're not going to get stronger. You're just going to go do it and bang it out and go into the gym every day and doing the same things like everybody else does. Know why. All right? Number one thing I can tell you. Hope this helps some of you. Again, I'm still working on the videos that you guys on the JI page have asked for. I'll get up as many as I can. I hope you're enjoying them. Hope it helps. Thanks a lot.